Good morning. It's Kristi. It's a Saturday morning, and here is your devotional for the day. We're looking in Matthew chapter 8, and this is just a story of one of the events in the life of Jesus, and it's entitled The Healing of Two Demon Possessed Men. All right, and so we're starting in verse 28. It says this: When he arrived at the other side in the region of the Gadarenes, two demon possessed men coming from the tombs met him. They were so violent that no one could pass that way. "What do you want with us, Son of God?" they shouted. "Have you come here to torture us before the appointed time?" Some distance from them, a large herd of pigs was feeding, and the demons begged Jesus, "If you drive us out, send us into the herd of pigs." He said to them, "Go." So they went out into the pigs, and the whole herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and died in the water. Those tending the pigs ran off, went into the town, and reported all this, including what had happened to the demon-possessed men. Then the whole town went out to meet Jesus, and when they saw him, they pleaded with him to leave their region. So what are some things going on here that we see in this story? Well, first of all, we see that Jesus goes to this area where it's an unclean area. People that were considered unclean, people who had diseases, people who were demon possessed, they were sent out away from the hubbub of the town, of the community. And so these two men are living amongst the tombs in this area. And Jesus goes to them. So that shows us right there that Jesus sees all. He knows our needs. He knows when we are in the lowest of low states. He knows when we cannot save ourselves. We can never save ourselves, but he knows when we are at the bottom of our pit. And so he goes to these men. He goes where they're at. All right. He's not afraid of them. He's not afraid of being unclean. He's not afraid of their demon possession. He's not afraid of their weirdness, if you will, from the rest of the world. They were violent. He wasn't afraid of that as well. Because why? Because he's God. He's God in the flesh. All right. So they know, the demons within these men recognize Jesus. They recognize Jesus as the Son of God, as God himself in the flesh, and they know the power that he carries. And so they say, Son of God, have you come here to torture us before the appointed time? What's the appointed time? The appointed time is at the end of this age, when this world is done and over, and there is a judgment day, a time of judgment, when God will send the demons and Satan to the lake of fire for all eternity. And so that is the appointed time that they are talking about. And then they beg Jesus to send them into a herd of pigs that is on the hillside there. And Jesus speaks one word: go. And they go. They have to flee at the sound of his voice. They have to flee at his presence. They tremble. The Bible tells us that even the demons know who Jesus is, know who God is, and they tremble. All right. And so this is what's happening here. They have to be obedient to what God says. And so Jesus sends them over into the pigs, and the pigs run off the cliff and they drowned in the water. Okay. And then what does it say? It says the people that were tending the pigs go and tell the town people, and they ask, it says they pleaded with Jesus to leave their region. Why do we get so unnerved when we see an act of God? It's because we don't understand it. We're not used to seeing those things. We're not used to seeing God manifest his power in such a physical and visible way. And so they were so terrified by this. They were so upset by this that they asked him, pleaded with him to leave. Let me ask you today, has God manifested himself in a very powerful way in your life? Have you seen him work and move in a mighty way? Listen, even the demons shudder at his voice. So when you are when you are at the lowest of lows, when you are going through that very difficult time, know this: it takes one word. from the Lord. It takes one look. It takes one nod in your direction for your situation to change. God can totally turn that thing around. And he sees you and he knows your needs. So don't fret, because he is there with you. All right, have a great day.